Welcome to NFL Week 7 of the Sports Phenom Show, the best damn sports betting show on the planet, where you get all of my capping insight and picks on every single game in under 30 minutes. No boring gibberish, only the main points that need to be said, and no commercials, just the way we like it. I am the owner of sportsbettingphenoms.com, better known as the Phenom, World Series of Handicapping champion. I run the only site on the globe where all of our cappers had to go through a rigorous qualifying process, all of which did so with at least a 60% record and unprecedented units of profits, max lines of only minus 150, different tier levels based on each capper's performance, where all results are fully documented from day one, and all of our packages are 100% guaranteed to profit. No one else offers what we do, and at more than fair prices and results that you simply can't find anywhere else. Speaking of unprecedented results, I did it again last week, folks, in week 6, going 3-1-1 on my money 5 best bets. Easy winners on San Francisco that started the week off on Thursday. We followed it up with Cincinnati on Sunday. And how about my pick on the Detroit Lions, who absolutely throttled and embarrassed the Dallas Cowboys? Almost putting up a 50 spot on them. My favorite of those 3 winners of the money 5s was Cincinnati. They also didn't disappoint. Every week, my favorite of the money 5 has won. That's 6 straight weeks now that I've told you my favorite of those money 5 selections. And every single week they have won. I should probably have an extra segment just for those picks, as that is unprecedented in itself. 6-0 again to start the year. So an extra congrats to those of you that are pounding on those. I know who you are, and I'm sure there's more of you pounding on that big favorite of my money 5. 6-0 on the year. 3-1-1 on those money 5 selections for last week. Now, the one loss came on Tennessee, who I'm officially done with them. I mean, they're just certain teams. Every capper knows what I'm talking about, that you just have to cut off and say, fuck them. You just can't win with them. You can't lose against them. It just seems to be one of those things where you can just never get a feel for them, and you just have to buck off of them. Simple as that. I mean, you know how much friggin' money this team cost me on parlays and money line tickets this weekend? It's crazy. I'm not talking hundreds or even thousands. I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars that I could have cashed if these idiots would simply hold the lead. Give me a break. Fool me once, shame on them. Fool me twice, okay. Cool. Shame on fucking me then. Whatever. I'm done with them. It's absolutely sickening that these guys cannot finish a game. This was a perfect spot. You're coming off a bye, looking to right ship after a disappointing 1-3 start to this season against the shit Indianapolis Colts team with a 40-year-old quarterback, Flacco, who was garbage, as expected, and you're at home to top it all off. I mean, you could not have asked for a better spot, and yet they found a way to lose again. If there's one thing the Titans are good at, I'll admit, is finding a way to lose. You had the friggin' lead with 7 minutes to go. Hold on to the fucking lead. They gave it up on what? Some kind of fluke, desperation, end zone bloop toss that Flacco threw up. I don't know if his hand got hit or what happened there, but it was Weird. It looks like you were throwing a football over a barn. Honestly, it looked like my grandmother threw it. And sure enough, Indy found a way to make the catch. And they had two Titan defenders on it that looked like they were just watching him to top it all off. So if that wasn't bad enough, we were still gifted with 3 more possessions to at very least tie the game. Better yet, win it. Fuck. Do something right for once in your season, in your life. And they couldn't even get past half in those last 3 possessions. Anyways, whatever. I'm done with them. They are officially off my list. Not taking them ever again. I bet the spot, not the team. But again, I won't be making that mistake again. I simply cannot trust them. I hope they basically get crushed every single game, starting here with Buffalo this weekend and every week thereafter. Now, the other pick I didn't win was the New York Jets. I smartly told you to buy that up from plus 2.5 to plus 3. So we pushed. But this one also made me want to vomit. I mean, the Jets found a way to blow it. Just like the Titans. And if I can add, what was with all the damn fucking flags, man? I mean, you're ruining these refs. You're ruining the game. I'm so frustrated watching these games with 20 some odd flags. I mean, these flag happy motherfucking refs, really? They're having community meetings after every friggin' call? Come on, man! It was the most penalized game of this season. It was an absolute circus. And how do they not fire Greg Zuerlein after those misses, too, by the way? I mean, how is this guy's ass still on the grass the next day kicking? How is it possible? Guy missed a chip shot 32-yard field goal. Then he missed a 40-some-odd yard semi-chip field goal. Really? This is why you lost the game. Okay. Jets could have won by more, should have won by more, whatever, could have won by more. But you got to get the damn fucking field goals, okay? This reminds me of that Cincy game we pushed the week prior, where that idiot Holder, who's getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do the easiest job in the NFL, couldn't even do that right. Costing the Bengals the game. And now we have Greg fucking Zuerlein, who's been doing this for I don't even know how many years, decades possibly? Oh my God. Now looked like he was like kicking in some rec league. Stupid chump, man. Seriously. And then if that wasn't bad enough, the cameras catch him smiling and chuckling on the sidelines while he was sitting down talking to somebody. Are you serious? Really? Come on. You absolute piece of trash. If I was the owner, your ass would be grass. And I would have fired you to the curb the next morning. I mean, if the idiotic management wasn't bad enough in that regard, what the fuck were they waiting for on the Davante Adams front? So they finally get him signed. I said this 2 weeks ago to get it done then. Now they lost 2 games since. 2 weeks you lost for nothing. You think Davante Adams would have slipped on that last drive like Williams did? That would have set them up in the red zone and almost certainly put them in a very good position to not only cover but win the game outright. Anyways, just another game we'll have to accept as we would. We didn't lose, but should have won. In the end, you see the quality of my plays even in pushes and occasional losses. As long as you keep doing what I tell you to do, buy the points when need be, half here, half there, you'll be fine. So overall results look like this. I mentioned to you I was 3-1-1 on my week 6 money fives. 10-3 over the last 3 weeks on all of my money fives. Couple pushes in there. So 10-3, 10 wins, 3 losses. Not bad. Last 3 weeks, an incredible 27-11. Now that's some impressive capping right there. 71% over 38 selections. And overall, on all of my plays for my first 6 weeks, 74-40, folks. 74-40. That's an unprecedented 65% over 114 selections. I think it's fair to say that these records make me the clear number one choice for your go-to capper. There isn't one other capper even remotely close to my records. If there is, let me know. I don't know anybody. Surely not on YouTube anyways. I've seen what these other so-called capper pros are doing. They're not even close to me. If you're not following me week in and week out, then you don't like easy, free money. I am the best NFL capper, period. And all of the rest of the jokers know it. I also want to thank you all for the nice comments you've been leaving. I really do appreciate that. Liking and subscribing. This video podcast here on YouTube is quickly growing. I'm sincerely humbled, honestly, by all the likes and subscribers. It's my honor to come out here. Long overdue, I will admit. You guys have been asking me for years to do this. Call me a little bit old school, but I'm finally here. Better late than never, as they say, right? And I'll continue to provide you with the best results in the industry that I promise you. I know the website that we have, and we're currently under construction for a new one, is going to be the number one go-to site in the industry, folks. It's already quickly becoming that right now. Very soon it will officially be that, I can guarantee you, where you're actually dealing with hard-working, honest, and transparent handicappers. No more of this BS crap you get from other services and all that fraudulent lies and all that crap. You got guys here on my site that care, and they have proven results that all started in these handicapping challenges. Where else do other services do that? Nowhere. You're just supposed to believe their records. You have no proof. I have big plans, folks. I've been doing this nearly 3 decades. I know all the ins and outs of the business. I know all the BS. I know all the fraudulent stuff that goes on. Fuck them. Stick with us, and I will make up for all of the other bullshit that goes on. As I said, I have big plans, maybe even a panel of cappers to join me for next season. It's a lot to look forward to. As long as you continue to give me and every other capper on our team 1% of your trust, we will undeniably and unequivocally earn the other 99%. So congrats on all the results thus far. Let's keep making this money train rolling. Also, before I get to this week's picks, I want to give a shout out to those of you currently competing in my latest 100 play handicapping challenge on Twitter. My Twitter is at sports_phenoms. Honorable mentions to our top challenger at Donalds27399. Again, at Donalds27399, who has a current A record of 21 wins and only 7 losses after 2 weeks. Those are some superb results, Donald. Great job. You can follow him and the rest of the Challenger plays on my Twitter profile. Make sure to give them a like and a follow. Again, at sports_phenoms. Nobody else does this kind of thing, folks. We're the only ones that provide a free platform. I've been doing this for 5 years now, providing a free platform for anybody who wants to make a name for themselves. You don't have to pay anybody. Come to me. Take advantage. Prove yourself. If you're good enough, you go to the next stage and possibly can make my team. This is the way it should be. Proven, transparent results right from your first pick. Again, one last time. My Twitter profile at sports_phenoms, where you can see that challenge and follow all my challenges that we do have in the future. Now, let's get to this week's action. First game, Thursday evening, Denver and New Orleans. Well, what a stinker, to say the least, to start the week. So much so, I don't even think I'll even watch this one. Probably just have it on one of my 10-plus TVs in the background somewhere. Maybe my weight room while I put in a good workout. Initially, I liked Denver +1. Now the line is all the way up to Denver -2.5. So I'm wondering if the value is gone. Total seems a bit low for a Thursday night Superdome game. So just small opinions. No leans here, folks. Just small opinions on New Orleans. I think the value is now on them, especially now if you buy it up to +3. And another opinion on the over. Just think the line's too low. Those Superdome games tend to go over more than not, especially on a Thursday night. Both coaches haven't had much time to prepare for this one. So again, not official leans, just opinions. New Orleans and the over. I personally will be passing on this one. Next game, New England and Jacksonville. And here we go again, another London game. My God. I still don't know what the point of this is, but hey, the NFL can do as it pleases. But here we are, getting up early again on Sunday for this one. I'm a little surprised at how big of a favorite the Jags are, to be honest with you. Opened at 6, I think. Now it's 5.5. My power numbers had them at -3 all the way up to -4.5 max. And my numbers are usually spot on or not too far off, but right away I'm thinking this must be a Jags play. I mean, why do they have them favored by so much? Seems like an easy call just to go with New England off a bye. Both teams suck. But it is the second straight game in England for Jacksonville. Again, they're home away from home. They looked terrible against the Bears last week. So something's telling me that the Jags are the play here. The only other problem I can think of is, again, Jags suck balls. And New England is coming off that bye week, so they've had the extra time to prepare. But again, I'm just going to keep going back to this line. It's fishy. It's speaking to me louder than any words will. So I'll simply give you a very small lean to Jacksonville here. If they don't cover this one, I'll be passing on any more games with them for the rest of the season also. They're just a team that make me want to vomit. Disgusting. They suck. What, Lawrence has won 1 out of his last 10 games or something? I'm like, how's he even still starting? Ridiculous. Jacksonville sucks. But a lean, small one, just because the line's fishy. Next game, as we get to the regular Sunday card, Tennessee and Buffalo to get us off and rolling. All right, so this one's going to be a quick handicap for me. Told you earlier I'm not going to get involved in Tennessee games anymore. And I'm just going to have to stick with that, at least for now anyways. The Titans not only screwed us last week, but they cost me tens of thousands of dollars on those parlay and money line tickets I was telling you about. Won every other lousy stinking game except for Tennessee. Fuck. It's unreal. Anyways, I hope the Bills basically beat the living crap out of them. The Bills, by the way, added Amari Cooper this week. I think that's a great addition, an incredible acquisition, to be honest with you, and really makes them look like the favorites now in the AFC East. So, I'm not going to make it official, but I am cheering for Buffalo. I hope they fucking kick Tennessee's ass. Next game, Cincinnati and Cleveland. The first thing that comes to mind in this one is how is it that Deshaun Watson is still the starting quarterback? I mean, really? Am I missing something here? Because, I mean, besides the fact that the Browns management has that much pride and ego, is that what it is? That they refuse to bench him? How many more games does he have to lose exactly before this happens? I've been saying it since the start of this season that this guy, along with Bryce Young, are going to be the first two quarterbacks benched. Bryce Young was. And Deshaun Watson really should have been already. I mean, they're already out of the playoff race. So what does it matter at this point? Tell me. As much as I feel for the Browns' decades of losing, I really don't feel sorry for the fact that sometimes they are simply their own worst enemy, aren't they? The other problem with this game is betting on Cincinnati to win by 7. I mean, yeah, I loved them last week. They got the job done. Have they righted the ship now? I don't know. Especially when they haven't blown out anybody. How the heck has the Cincinnati Bengals only won 2 of the first 6 games and haven't blown out one team yet? It's not like they're playing elite juggernauts every week. Every game they play is close. This is also a division game, and let's not forget the Battle of Ohio. Not to mention Chubb is back for the Browns. So, really, the only lean I have on this one is to put the Bengals in a 6-point teaser. You got to think they're going to squeeze out a win like they have been in their 2 wins, and every game is close, as I said. So, I don't see Browns winning. I mean, it could possibly happen. But, I mean, do you see the Bengals going 2-5? So, as much as I'd really like to take the Bengals on the side here, I just feel like it would be too forced. And who knows? Maybe Deshaun Watson will be pulled from this game if Cincinnati does get out to a lead. And then next thing you know, Jameis Winston comes in and all of a sudden they make a close game out of it. And who knows? Maybe even pull out the outright win. So I don't think that's going to happen just yet, but it's getting closer and closer every week now. So before I take Cincinnati in a spot like this, close to a touchdown favorite on the road, I need to see a breakout game for them. That hasn't happened as of yet. As I said, the only play here worth looking at then is to take Cincinnati in a 6-point teaser. I'm going to match them up with somebody later on in the recording, so stay tuned for that. Next game, Houston and Green Bay. This is one of the highlighted games of the weekend and one I'm looking forward to watching. Problem is, it's a tough handicap. I think I'm going to lean, though, on Green Bay on the money line. I mean, let's take a look at Houston first. They're already comfortably leading the AFC South, and they won't even be remotely threatened all season long with the likes of Indy, Tennessee, and Jacksonville all in their division. I mean, this is looking to be a division the Texans will absolutely dominate all season long, and if not, for years to come. And with that, you have to expect some sort of letdown games, right? Because, I mean, they won't be challenged too much. So that has to be considered every time Houston, especially, is probably on the road or in a situation like this. Not to say they won't be excited about going to Green Bay and facing the solid 4-2 Packers. There's no doubt about that. CJ Stroud, a rookie, he's hungry. The Texans are all hungry. The management's hungry. Everybody's hungry. I just think this game means more to the Pack, who could find themselves, by the way, in second place here. I mean, they're also playing in one of the toughest divisions, the Pack are. So that'll definitely serve for some added motivation for them, especially when you consider there's a better than fair chance that the Vikings could squeeze out a win against the Hutchinless Detroit Lions. So I believe they come out very hungry in this one. It's also another really good opportunity to let the league know that they are also a team to be reckoned with, that they are for real. So I like this short number, and I love the spot for the Pack. Take them on the money line. This was very close to being a money 5 selection for me. Again, Green Bay on the money line. Next game, Miami and Indianapolis. Okay, so we all know that I went against Indianapolis last week, and they pulled off a lucky win against the shit fucking Titans. That was a game they had no part of even being in. But of course, as was already discussed earlier in the recap portion of the show, it was more the Titans' debacle than it was an Indy win. So they are more than lucky to be sitting at 3-3. While Miami now, who are coming off a bye week, are in a desperate need of a win, to say the least. Word out of Miami is that Tua will be back sometime over the course of the season. Best of luck to him if he does. Wow, I mean, he's putting his maybe life on the line. I mean, with all these concussions and from the medical prognoses that I've heard. But hey, to each their own. I believe their record, if they will be in the playoff run, will be the determining factor of that. I just don't see them putting in Tua otherwise. I mean, they're not in the playoff race. What would be the point of that? At least give them the rest of the year off. So, on the other side of things, then, that makes these types of games against weaker opponents that much more important for the Miami Dolphins. Listen, Indianapolis sucks. All right, they got lucky last week. This is a desperate situation for Miami. You're at a point now in the season where Miami has to win a game like this if they want to stay in the race, have a chance at bringing back Tua and salvaging their season. Indy's not going to make the playoffs. They're not even going to come close to it when it's all said and done. I'm going to have a slight lean here on Miami, plus the 3.5. Next game, Detroit and Minnesota. Well, along with that Green Bay and Houston matchup I'm looking forward to watching, this is definitely another game that's going to be on one of my televisions close by so I can keep an eye on it. And just as that other Green Bay and Houston game, this is a tough one to handicap. First, you have Minnesota, who's a perfect 5-0 to start the season and coming off their bye week. How surprised are we at that? Now, usually in this type of spot where a team who's off to a surprising start, heading into the bye with a perfect record, I tend to lean the other way. They're hearing all the good things on this bye week. They're the surprise of the league. They're now Super Bowl contenders and all that type of thing. And usually rule of thumb is you go against them out of that week as they come out a little bit complacent. Problem is, I don't know how complacent they're going to be knowing that they're playing their NFC North rivals and also for the division lead here. So I believe the motivation is still there. There's no desperation on their end, but motivation should still be high. Then you have Detroit, who I probably would have really liked in this spot, to be honest with you. Coming off the big win last week and then having this big showdown against the Vikings. I mean, they obviously weren't looking forward ahead to this game as they throttled Dallas last week. So looks like the mindset of the Detroit Lions is right where it needs to be. But let's not forget, they lost Hutchinson, and now this is going to be a big impact on the defense. Obviously, Detroit's going to be able to continue to score points. That's not going to be an issue. But what should we expect now on the defensive side of things? That's the concern for the Lions moving forward, especially in a big divisional game for bragging purposes. So I'm a bit contrary in this spot for both of these teams. It's such a big game for Detroit, though, isn't it? I mean, if they were to lose and everybody else wins their next game, Green Bay and Chicago, they could find themselves in last place. So that's how tough that division is. That in itself puts a lot of wrinkles on things here for me in this one. If Hutchinson never got hurt, I really think Detroit would be the play in this one. And it easily could have been even a money 5 pick for me. But now I'm afraid it will be more of a letdown off that big win for Detroit here. They've got to be thinking about this Hutchinson thing all week long, and I just don't know what their mental state will be because of that. Maybe it's going to take a week or two to feel good about things again and see how things go before they realize, hey, we're still good. But again, now you have the Minnesota Vikings to deal with here in this one. Ultimately, when it's all said and done, I still am going to lean on Detroit. Again, it's the bigger game for them. The consequences of a loss here already this early in the season could be huge and possibly detrimental. I mean, Green Bay and Chicago are looking to be up-and-coming solid teams, and Detroit does not want to lose this game. But again, that Hutchinson thing is just throwing me off. I really wish he didn't get hurt, and we'd have a much bigger and better conversation and play here in this regard. But again, I have to see what's going to happen on the defensive end of things. I actually like the fact they're playing the Vikings, having to cover Jefferson, having to deal with a hot Darnold right now, and let's see what this defense can do and put together now with that Hutchinson injury. But still, my official lean will be on Detroit. Now, the benefit of being a member, folks, is you'll find out all my latest information come game time, early Sunday morning. There's a chance that this could change. There's a change that maybe I will end up going bigger on Detroit. Those are the perks of being a member, so keep that in mind here in this one. Next game, Philadelphia and the New York Giants. Well, if you didn't believe me earlier in this season about the Eagles not being a good team and having tons of internal problems, do you believe me now? I mean, how laughable is it that Coach Sirianni, who I guarantee you does not get along with a lot of his players, including his quarterback, which never makes for the type of chemistry a team needs to succeed, but now he's making enemies with the fans? Did you see what happened at the end of the game? He was confronting them post-game and asking them to give him a, what do you say about this win now kind of response? I mean, did we all just witness what I think we witnessed? Not only is it unprofessional, but it even more so shows your insecurity, bud. I mean, why not simply just pump your hands up in the air and celebrate with everybody? I mean, remember, it's not about you, chump. It's about your team. Hello? This is by far my Keyshawn Johnson, come on, man, moment of the season. You beat the Cleveland fucking Browns. Cleveland Browns! One of, if not arguably, the worst team in the league by 4 points. 4 lousy points. I have to say it again. Come on, man! And you think I'm going to bet on your sorry asses? Not a chance. I told you Cleveland was the play last week against them. Even told you it made me vomit to have to take Cleveland. But that's how bad I know this Philly team is. And until they start showing me more, or at least firing that piece of shit coach they have, Sirianni, I'm just going to have to keep going against them more times than not. Take the New York Giants, folks. We're being gifted more than a field goal here? Fuck, sign me up. The Giants played well against the Bengals last week, right? And if they play just as good again here in this one, there's no reason that they don't get the cover. So, Giants plus 3.5. Next game, Seattle and Atlanta. And now we finally have my first of 5 Money 5 selections. Now, this is the public bet of the week by far. And for my regular followers of this show, you're learning that I'm usually going to lean the other way, as long as my handicap approves. And in this case, it does. This is a perfect spot for the outright upset. Atlanta has won 3 straight, while Seattle's lost 3 straight. So why Seattle? Well, for one, the public isn't looking at who these two teams have played thus far. I can guarantee you that. Atlanta, in those 3 straight wins, have beat the Saints and the 1-win Panthers. The Saints, they've had 2 wins so far. Panthers 1 win, while Seattle has lost 2 of their last 3 to Super Bowl contenders Detroit and San Francisco. So let's face it, Atlanta is no Detroit or San Francisco, for that matter. This is a perfect get-right spot for the Seahawks to snap their 3-game slide. Even if not, we'll buy it up to 3.5 and lose no more than a field goal for the cover. This play is my first of 5 Money 5 selections. Take Seattle. Buy it up to 3.5. Next game, Carolina and Washington. Well, not sure who's going to watch this crap game other than fans from probably each respective teams. Although I'm not even sure that the Panther fans want to be tuning in for this one or any more Panther games for that matter. I mean, if this one doesn't have blowout written all over it, I don't know which one does this week. This is about as easy of a handicap as it gets. I mean, what argument would you have for Carolina in this one unless you believe the Commanders will have a bit of a letdown after the big showdown loss against the Ravens last week? But I just don't see that. Jaden Daniels is young. I mean, he's hungry. So are the full Commanders squad and management. And I surely don't trust Carolina to carry enough. So the only way to go here is to lay the points. I'm not going to make it a Money 5 or anything like that. It's a lot of points. I mean, it could be a slight letdown, possibly. Maybe a backdoor cover. I don't know. Really, it should be a blowout, but I just don't like the game. It's a boring game. I don't even want to watch it. I don't want to deal with it. So let's just say a small lean on the Commanders to blow them out here. Nothing more on that game. Next game, Vegas and the LA Rams. Earlier, I told you the only play on the Cincinnati-Cleveland game was to take Cincinnati on that 6-point teaser, if you remember. And this is the game I believe is the perfect companion. Vegas is an absolute train wreck. And after losing Devontae Adams, the white towel has basically been thrown in for the season. Now, the only reason I'm not going to lay the full points is because LA continues to deal with a plethora of injuries, right? And they've got Cooper Kupp still out, so I think the right play is just to simply match them with Cincinnati here on a 6-point teaser. Really nothing more to add. Cincy and the LA Rams bought down to -0.5. That's a nice, valuable teaser there you can put as an official play. Not a money five or anything like that, but definitely worth putting a little bit of money on. Next game, Kansas City and San Francisco. This is my second of 5 Money 5 selections. It's also my Super Bowl revenge game of the year. Now, you might be thinking that with Kansas City off a bye and Andy Reid, who was an unprecedented 21-3 post-bye, that I'm all over Kansas City in this one. But actually, I'm going to go the opposite way and take San Francisco in this spot. Remember, the soap opera of the NFL is all about spots. If you became an NFL spot connoisseur, you're already an elite NFL capper without any other knowledge. I know, crazy, right? But true. And another thing, everyone and their grandmothers is on Kansas City in this one. Public will look at, the fact that Kansas City's 5-0 off a bye. And even the most novice capper can acknowledge the fact that Andy Reid is 21-3 post-bye, all that kind of thing. But then ask yourself this one. Why has the line shifted towards the 49ers? All this money on Kansas City, yet the line is going in the 49ers' way. Why? Because the reputable sharps have hit this game early and often, and that includes me. Now, it's a shame, of course, that this recording wasn't done a little bit earlier in the week, so we could have taken advantage of that other line, but it doesn't matter. San Francisco's laying 1.5. We'll take it on the money line. All good. Kansas City went into that bye, folks, as one of the most complacent, happy-go-lucky, most of all, luckiest 5-0 teams probably in the history of the NFL. They have caught every friggin' horseshoe luck you can get so far. I mean, am I not saying the truth? I mean, let's face it, they could be 0-5. San Francisco, on the other hand, saved their season last week with a big win and now are the NFL West leaders because of it. I expect that momentum to continue in this one, and I believe San Francisco will be salivating at the opportunity to dethrone the champs, at least here in the regular season part of things, and with the win, turn their season back to what they've expected it to be, the favorites to win it all. Take San Francisco on the money line. My revenge game of the year and second of 5 Money 5 selections. Next game, the New York Jets and Pittsburgh Steelers. This is another Money 5 selection. So word has it that Russell Wilson will be in the starting position for this one. Hey, that's absolutely fine by me. Let him dust all that rust off against the desperate Jets, who are in a must-win game this early in the season. Who, by the way, finally, and I mean finally, got the news that they've all been waiting for. Welcome to the Aaron Rodgers family, Davante Adams. Man, mark my words, this is absolutely huge for the Jets. If the Bills didn't pick up Amari Cooper, coincidentally, the day after the Jets pick up Devontae Adams, I'd say they'd be the favorites in their division. But it's going to be close now. Anyways, for the Jets, for the time being, I believe this is absolutely huge. This is exactly what the Jets needed to get that offense where it needs to be. Defense is already solid. Didn't have the best game last week, that's for sure. But overall, they are solid on D. So I believe as long as Rodgers can stay healthy, this is going to help right the ship. And I believe that it's not going to take that long. It's going to happen sooner than later. And this is going to start right away here this weekend. Rodgers and Adams know each other basically like a book. And even though it's going to take a few games to probably get things going on all full cylinders, they have more than enough knowledge of each other. They're more than good enough to win in this spot against the Russell Williams, who's going to be shaking off the dust as mentioned. So I love the New York Jets. Take the Jets. My third of 5 Money 5 selections. Make sure to take them on the money line. Next game, Baltimore and Tampa Bay as we start our Monday night card. The league, once again, putting out 2 Monday night games. Come on. Oh, man. And the topper is, did you see the times of these games? The first one at 8:15 Eastern, the second one at 9? Oh, man. I don't get it. Anyways, I don't even want to go there. Let's talk about this one. Baltimore, Tampa Bay. So immediately think about this. What do we have? Mayfield versus Jackson. And we have Harbaugh versus Bowles. Should I go any further? Yet, I have no idea why this line is going down on this one. Yes, Tampa Bay have put a 50 spot on New Orleans last week, but that was New Orleans. Are we all forgetting they suck? The Ravens, on the other hand, have righted the ship with 4 straight big wins after a surprising 0-2 start. One of those losses to the Kansas City Chiefs on the first game of the season, and that was also a primetime game. And this is the first primetime game the Ravens have had since. So I don't think they're going to want to have another loss on a primetime game. And I expect them to want to put on a show here in this one. Plus, let's face it, Tampa Bay's defense sucks. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens should tear all over this defense. The fact it's gone down, the line, that's a benefit. That's great. I'm going to buy it down another half point. We're going to take a -3. Enjoy the show, folks. Baltimore, -3. My 4th of 5 Money 5 selections. Next game, and this is the final game of Week 7. LA Chargers and Arizona. Again, note the time on this one, 9 Eastern. Crazy. This is a tough one. LA Chargers coming off a win against Denver last week after losing to the Chiefs prior to that. And Arizona got crushed by the Packers. The biggest thing that stands out to me in this one is the defenses. LA has only allowed a league's best 66 points, solid, through 5 games. And I think that's about an average of about 13 points per game, while Arizona has given up 163 over 6 games. That's an average of 27. So right there, a difference of 2 touchdowns per game that Arizona is giving up more than the LA Chargers. So this might be a good spot for the Chargers to get their struggling offense going. Arizona back at home, though, after that embarrassing loss to the Packers. So it is a tough one. I'll lean with the Chargers on the money line here in this one. Okay, so now to recap the money 5, and you might be saying, hang on a second, I think I only heard 4 of 5 money 5 selections, and you are correct. I'm going to do something here for the 5th pick that I rarely do, just because even though there were 2 or 3 other games that I felt were very close to being a money 5, I just didn't think they were good enough. They're worthy of smaller bets, but not your bigger percentage of bankroll bets. So I've put in the 4 that you've heard, and I'm going to tease my favorite 2. Now, obviously, San Francisco, as it being my revenge game of the year, is going to be my favorite. I know all you guys waiting to hear my favorite of the 5, so you can pound on that one. Looking for my 7th straight favorite win out of the gate and make it a perfect run after 7 straight weeks. And I'm going to use San Francisco in that teaser with another team. But let me recap the other 4 first. We have Seattle was my first money 5 selection, plus 3.5. Then we took the New York Jets on the money line. San Francisco, the next play, also on the money line. And the 4th play was on Baltimore laying 3. Now, as for that 5th and final money 5 selection, it's going to be a 2-team 6-point teaser. Both the Jets and the 49ers are favored by 1.5. I want you to buy 6 and take them up to plus 4.5. So Jets plus 4.5, San Francisco plus 4.5. That is your final of 5 money 5 selections. I don't do that often, but I don't force anything either. So I love this teaser. Those 2 plays are my favorite 2 plays, and they perfectly number into this 2-team 6-point teaser. So those are your 5 money 5 selections for week number 7. So that'll do it for another week, folks. I am the Phenom, wishing you all an amazing week. Let's get this money. See ya.